Ladies and gentlemen, our program will begin precisely in 10 minutes. If you could please start finding your seats. We're going to run a tight 60-minute program today. So we go live online at precisely 11 o'clock. So please take your seats starting in 10 minutes.
guys are not joking about Stars and Stripes. I hear a lot of people saying. I was gonna ask you if we doing this. I'm not marching out. Kick down the stairs. We're doing all four. Okay, there you go. Oh, I've never seen it play before. No, we're doing the push. We're gonna slow march.
That the trolleys have been rolling in full. We want to give everybody time to get in and find their places, so we will begin at 11:05. We will begin in approximately 5 minutes from now. We are thrilled that you're here, that you've chosen to honor America and honor those who have given the ultimate sacrifice with your time and attention here today. So thank you for being here. 5 minutes.
Section was about to ready to lose their freaking minds because they continued on and you did not.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just arriving, thank you again for spending time with us here today. We are going to begin in about 2 minutes. In about 2 minutes, what you will not see is an online pre-recorded message that will be going out online, and then our program will commence live here, and the program will be going out live online. So in 2 minutes, we will start. Again, thank you for being here. Please find your seats. Water's everywhere. Should we take the sunscreen down? This is Phil's. It fills.
I'm not touching it. All right, Chris, get your position. We're starting.
How you doing? 90 seconds to playback. Thanks, sir.
I'll just stay over here while they count us down.
Hey, that's perfect. Oh, come on, man. I get so few perks. Yes. Good morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to you live from the Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial overlooking a beautiful and very, very sunny La Jolla and San Diego today. Thank you all for being here. We are so fortunate to have some amazing supporting organizations here with us in the audience. A wonderful keynote speaker today that I guarantee you will not forget. I look forward to seeing you atop the memorial each and every year, yet it's been an honor to be up here with so many notable leaders over the years, their families, their friends, as we share stories of those who are no longer with us. But of course, we're all excited that you are joining us here online as well today if you couldn't be here personally. But truly, if you ever have an opportunity to be here in person, please do that. I guarantee you won't forget it. My name is Mark Bailey, and again, thank you for joining us here today to pay tribute to Marine Corps Major Megan McClung, and to so many others who have given the ultimate sacrifice to preserve our precious freedoms, which today we take a moment once again to pause and remember how grateful and blessed we are. It has now been over 20 years since we started the conflict sometimes known as the global war on terrorism, with American forces and our allies across Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen, Syria, and so many war zones across the world. We have many of those heroes on these beautiful black granite walls that surround us here today. And I hope you'll take an opportunity to walk the walls, as we say, and take a moment just to ponder and reflect and appreciate. Over the next 60 minutes, and I say that with a smile, you've heard this before, we're going to keep it to 60 minutes today. Okay, we're going to give it a shot. We're going to do things a bit differently here today. We're going to celebrate the life of an energetic and beloved Marine with their friends and family here today. And we also commemorate all who have given the ultimate sacrifice. We honor their families and their loved ones. And it is truly, truly necessary that we dedicate some time to honoring them, not just during our 2022 Memorial Day celebration here on Mount Soledad, but each and every single day. I hope you'll pause and reflect with a spirit of gratitude and appreciate. It's now my pleasure to introduce Neil O'Connell, the Mount Soledad Memorial Association's newest executive director. And with all of you that you've done, Neil, I'm telling you, you deserve this so much. So thank you again, and please welcome me and help me welcome Neil O'Connell.
Thank you very
Smooth
much,
as
Mark.
silk. Right? Thanks, Neil.
Good morning, everybody. At this time, I'd like you to please stand as we invite the Marine Corps Installation West Color Guard to present the colors. Today's Color Guard is led by Sergeant Tyler Pruitt. Color Guard, present the colors. We are now pleased to welcome the 2021-2022 San Diego County Veteran of the Year, Josh Prado, the President and CEO of Vetted, talent network showcasing military talent in San Diego. Josh, I invite you to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Please remain standing as we invite Vincent Martin to sing our national anthem. He's a professional vocalist and has been a 35-year member of the San Diego County Opera Chorus. Vincent? Yes, sir.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you being with us once again. Please remain standing as the color guard retires the colors. Color Guard. Retire the colors. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce United States Navy Chaplain Lieutenant Reiner Harper from the 3rd Assault Amphibian Battalion on Camp Pendleton. He's here today to help us with our invocation. Sir? Take your time, sir. You're great.
Let us pray. Our Father, which art in heaven, I thank you for the health and strength to assemble this Memorial Day. Please bless in a special way those who have gathered here today to honor those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in their service to our nation. We give thanks for their service because today we live in freedom because they were willing to surrender theirs. We take time today to honor them and their humble willingness to walk in the footsteps of our forefathers that boldly pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. As we pay tribute to them today, please have mercy and grace upon those dear loved ones that they left behind. Please bring them comfort, strength, and hope for the void that they have received that can never be truly filled. Today, we want to especially remember the life of Major Megan McClung. We thank you for her honor, courage, and commitment to place her life in harm's way for the sake of the Marine Corps and for her country. I thank you that she willingly accepted her orders to serve in Operation Iraqi Freedom. Today, we give praise for her faithfulness to those orders that would eventually cost her her life. My Father, as we take time to praise her in her faithful service, please help us as we also grieve and mourn her loss. I ask you to please bless her family and all those that she was dear to as they mourn the loss of their fallen hero in a way that many of us will never understand. And as we remember Father, as we remember the life and death of Major McClung, and the great host of many others that are giving their lives for our nation and its allies, I ask you to please stir our hearts and use their sacrifice as a fire to reignite the values and timeless virtues that birthed our nation into existence. Lastly, dear Father, please help us all to love our nation and our neighbors with the same commitment and selfless service of those that we honor today. Please bless today's speakers and every participant in this program and use this to give hope and inspire as many people as possible to dedicate their lives to new heights of patriotism, love, hope, and faith. And I ask you these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Thank you very much, Chaplain, and the Marine Color Guard, our Marine Band San Diego. Thank you all for joining with us this morning. We still have folks coming in up the hill. We ask you all to please make your way back to some of these areas. There's plenty of seats for everybody, ladies and gentlemen, and there's a lot of nice spots out there on the lawn if you have your youngsters with you. But I'm honored here to join you on this very, very serious day for veterans as we mourn the passing of those who have gone before us. General Mcfarland, Mrs. Mcfarland, we are grateful for your leadership and passion as we welcome you and Linda back to Mount Soledad for this most fitting ceremony on this Memorial Day. Mrs. McClung, Michael and Stephanie, we welcome you with open arms. Our hearts are warmed by your passion and your resilience. We are humbled and honored by your presence. I believe that Megan, if you think about it, being an avid runner, she probably ran the Mount Soledad Road once or twice, and I bet she enjoyed every bit of that effort, and I bet she came right up these stairs to that cross. So we have a lot of Marines and sailors and SEALs and soldiers who love the challenge of running this hill, and I know Megan is with us today. And to all the men and women that are serving in our armed forces, and those veterans who donned the uniform, serving our nation, I know too well how important this day is for you. You're here. You made the choice. It's especially important for us to pause and reflect and understand this. Amongst the crowd here, we have many veterans who served in Iraq in the same battle spaces as Megan, through the tenuous times of very dangerous locations and personal sacrifices. We know Megan demonstrated immense courage. General Mcfarland will share some much closer insights about her service. But let's pause and understand that the freedom that we enjoy today and that we cherish has been preserved for generations by young men and women who have answered the call to serve our nation for over 246 years. And as Mark talked about, each and every one of them since 1973 has been a volunteer. They willfully acknowledged that they would be placed in harm's way. They understood the risk involved. They were young. Some weren't young. This was their call of duty. Each swore an oath, and many of you sitting here know that oath well, to support and defend our Constitution against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. There's more to it, but we should never take their service for granted, nor the meaningful, very meaningful words, "So help me God." For as we are all here this morning, let us not forget those that made the ultimate sacrifice while serving. They did not return home with their buddies. They didn't return home to the pier or the airfield or the LZ or the camp. It is their sacrifice that brings us all here this morning. Today, at this magnificent beacon of freedom, we are once again proud to be able to host all of you. And as Mark made comment to, we invite you to stay and walk the sidewalks, visit with our docents. We're proud, we're very, very proud and inspired by the stories of courage, of patriotism, and love for our country that the names and faces of these walls are representative of. Since 1952, the Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial has been committed to honoring and preserving the legacy of our veterans. We stand on solid footing here, and we will not waver in our duties and our mission. I can promise you that. We will pay forward to our children our deep love for our country, the preservation of our constitutional values, our freedom and way of life, and the patriotic spirit which we are bound to. In a few minutes, you will hear from Lieutenant General Mcfarland, who will share his experiences as a brigade combat team commander in the very contested city of Ramadi in the Al-Anbar province. As I mentioned, we have many veterans from Iraq seated here with us this morning. Soldiers, airmen, Marines, U.S. Navy SEALs, Seabees. And we cannot forget our beloved corpsmen and our chaplains and our medics. There is a common bond that prevails amongst all of us, all veterans of every era. The Al-Anbar province of Iraq, some 17, 18 years ago, brought together hundreds of thousands of young Americans. And we are proud to honor and remember the service of Major Megan McClung. Amongst the buddies and the warriors that fought in Al Anbar, we're proud to be able to display plaques here, such as Corporal Jason Dunham, Rafael Peralta, Jeanette Winters, Michael Mansour, Mark Lee, Staff Sergeant Robert Mendoza, U.S. Marine, Gunnery Sergeant Amber Lovelace, United States Marines. These are just to name a few. So as we pause to reflect on their sacrifices, I would ask each of you to join us in a pledge. Lest we forget, we will remember them. It's now my sincere pleasure to introduce to you our president, newly appointed to the Mount Soledad Memorial Association, Phil Kendra. Phil is a native of Washington, D.C., graduating from the Pennsylvania State University in 1995. He was commissioned in the United States Marine Corps, later designated a naval aviator. He served 20-plus years in the Marine Corps as a pilot, instructor pilot, forward air controller, company commander during the 2003 Iraq invasion, operations director, and he has helped with community and public relations. He's now working with our Devil Dog Marines as the assistant director for the Marine Corps Entertainment Office. Phil's married to Jill, a saint, a Navy nurse veteran. They have two beautiful children, Brandon and Alexandra. You can wave, that's okay. He's on the board of the Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial. He's been serving since 2016. Please join with me in welcoming Phil Kendra. All right, man. If I didn't put you off time. Sorry.
Good morning. I truly love being up here with you all because on behalf of all the trustees, the staff, the volunteers, the docents of the Mount Soledad Memorial Association, we offer you a very welcome back. Love having you all here, both here and online. We got a breeze that's going to keep you a little bit cool. Of course, it's blowing everything down, unfortunately. So I appreciate you all helping to hold the plaque there. We've been very fortunate for many of our events to have the support of many military services and many tremendous local groups here who contribute to making San Diego America's finest city. I want to first thank our Marines from Marine Corps Installations West, Vincent, Josh, Lieutenant Harper, really appreciate that. And especially a big thank you to our awesome Marine Band San Diego. Can I get applause for them too, please? You know, I also must congratulate a Marine who has really made this iconic San Diego monument in our Memorial Association, the great organization that has become. Neil, thank you for your time on the board. Thank you for bringing me on board 6 years ago. It's been quite a while. And I cannot thank you enough for taking over as our executive director and leading us forward to the future. So thank you, Neil. Every generation has fought in some sort of conflict, battle, or war since this country was founded. From the Revolutionary War to the War of 1812, the Spanish-American War, and all of the conflicts in the 20th and 21st centuries. And in each of those wars and battles, we lost men and women who served in places like Sangin, Mosul, Kandahar, Ramadi, Fallujah, and so many others. For many of us, we fought the global war on terrorism, and it started either as Operation Enduring Freedom or Iraqi Freedom. For many of us, we fought in both, and later in Syrian operations as well. We fought against some truly evil forces to help give the citizens across those nations a chance of a better life, freedoms, for their friends, for their loved ones, for their children. But we ultimately fought for our fellow brothers and sisters, many of them here today that we fought for. I really appreciate the fact of the Naval Academy Alumni Association, the center, that you could join us. Many of our Marine Corps brethren that serve with Megan, the Marine Corps Comstrap folks here today. Thank you for joining us today. After our ceremony today, I invite you all to take some time to visit a table with memorabilia from Megan's family to learn more about her. And she was a character. You also note there's an interesting fuzzy figure on that table. It's a penguin. The Penguin Award is given at the Marine Corps Marathon annually for the slowest participant to finish the Marine Corps Marathon. So they've been giving that, I think, for multiple years now. So that fuzzy penguin that you see will be going to D.C. and giving to whoever takes that 5, 6+ hours, because the gist is for their efforts for not quitting no matter what their time would be to finish the marathon. That's awesome. Her legacy lives on each year, as well as the Major Megan McClung Leadership Award presented to a deserving Marine each year. So today, make sure to take some time, go over there, sign the guest book, send a message, and learn a little bit more about Megan after today. So what's going on here new at the memorial? Well, first of all, you're going to notice the walls are getting quite full. So we're hitting the wall, if you notice, in our program, and we could use your help for that one. And we're coming up with some ideas about how we're going to expand. Second, we're I'm going to speak properly now. We're diving deep into our youth and education programs. And a lot of that's been the efforts of all those education programs that Neil, our docents, have been helping out. So every time you come up here, all those stories about the plaques, they're educating you about what they did for their service. Third, we brought on Neil as our executive director, a Marine veteran, a friendly son of St. Patrick, and a personal friend. Thank you. Lastly, I want you to look up at the beautiful new granite bench that we have there at the top, with much thanks to Papa Doug Manchester sitting right there with that beautiful red jacket. It's amazing, and it got here on time. Thank you so much to that. But if you notice, there's space for 3 more benches up there, so I'm just saying there's room. You can help out with that. And to all of you, very much appreciate you being here, whether it's your first time or your 50th time at the memorial. I give it back to you, Mark. Thanks, bud.
Thank you, Phil. Mayor Todd Gloria is the 37th mayor of the city of San Diego, starting his term in a very challenging year, 2020. Mayor Gloria is committed to making San Diego a city of opportunity that invests not only in every neighborhood, but in every single San Diegan. He's a graduate of the University of San Diego. We're looking forward to maybe some games down there at Snapdragon Stadium in September. Yeah, looking forward to that. A third-generation San Diegan, a lifelong career in public service, which was inspired by his parents, and he has spent his entire professional life in service to the public. This past year, Mayor Gloria established a first-of-its-kind City of San Diego Military and Veteran Advisory Council. Some of those folks that serve on that council are in the audience today. Holly, are you out there? Out here in the audience somewhere. Well, pat him on the back when you see him. Our wonderful honor flight as well. Want to be sure to mention that. During all of his years in service, which has been a really long time for a guy that looks like he's still in college, he's been a strong supporter of our memorial, and we truly thank him for his support. A very dear friend and a good man, the mayor of San Diego, Todd Gloria.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Phil. And thank you, Neil. Thank you to all the board, trustees, volunteers, donors who helped make this national monument possible. I will tell you that I was telling Phil that he did a good job on his comments, not just because they were quality, but because they got us back on time in terms of the agenda. Mark said 60 minutes. Now here I am to derail that, so I will do my best to be brief, because there is a re-election in a couple years, everybody. But I will tell you, despite that levity, you know, there is no higher honor or more solemn duty for the mayor of this great military city than to preside over Memorial Day celebrations and memorials. And I thank you. I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for proving what I tell people all the time when I travel around this country, that we are first and foremost a proud military town. And we don't just use it with words or with hashtags, but we live out these values, and you all are proof of that. You showed up here today because you recognize today is a solemn occasion. They're remembering millions of people who over centuries have given their lives in order to allow us to live free. This is a very small price to pay in terms of a bit out of your day, but I'm humble and I'm grateful to see this large crowd here and knowing, having come here for so many years, that each year so many San Diegans show up to show their appreciation, their respect, and to pay gratitude to those who made our day, our democracy, possible. I want to say that I started my day this morning out at Fort Rosecrans National Cemetery with many of you all. We were there about 5:30 in the morning as the sun's coming up. And it's remarkable as mayor of the city to be able to stare at the skyscrapers and the skyline of our great city and know that we are, in fact, a truly great city. But then to reflect on Memorial Day knowing that we are a free city because of those who gave their lives in order for us to be able to be Americans. And so I'm here to express the gratitude of the 1.4 million people who call this city home, knowing that our military identity is wrapped up in who we are as a community, and that we live out these values all year long, but today is particularly important. I want to tell you the whole of our city stands in support of this effort. I'm joined today by City Council Member Joe LaCava. Joe represents Council District 1, the district we're in today. Joe, thank you for being here, as well as Congressman Peters, Supervisor Desmond, Recorder Clerk Dronenberg. I appreciate the whole of city approach. You see that we have many of our city employees who are here today. And if I may take the point of personal privilege, we have many of our firefighters who you saw leap into action just a moment ago to save that display, as well as many of our police officers who are here. Would you please thank them for their service? So I stood there this morning at Fort Rosecrans and watching that sun rise, thinking about all the San Diegans who left out of our big and beautiful bay to defend our country abroad and never returned home to their friends and families who are here. And I thought about the impact that those individuals had, not just on our country, but on those who are in their lives and those people who are hurting today. Because while we show our respects, for many it is deeply and much more personal. And there's an empty seat at the dinner table. There are birthdays and anniversaries and holidays that are not celebrated fully because of folks who chose to put their country ahead of their own personal needs and families. That's what today is about. Honoring, remembering those who believed in this country so much that they took up the call to service to defend it and ultimately gave their own lives in service to it. And so, again, I am deeply grateful to all of you who are here, both in person and watching from home. I know many of you are also grieving as having lost someone in service to their country, and I want to express the appreciation and gratitude of a grateful city to all of you who serve in that role. And I want to conclude by saying that from my perspective, the best way to honor those who have given their lives in service to this country is to do right by those who are still with us and who have served our country. And that starts with making sure that we do everything we can as a community to make sure the word that homeless and veteran are never in the same sentence. It is an absolute embarrassment that happens, and we can do better. And by judging by your applause, I think you agree. So let us remember those who we have lost by celebrating those who are still here and supporting them and their families. And let us always remember that we are a great city, but we are a free city because of those who chose to give their lives in service to this country. May God bless you all. May God bless our war dead, our service members, and their families. May God bless San Diego, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
All right, thank you again, Mayor Gloria, and for being here and for always supporting the memorial and our veterans here in San Diego. I think you can tell the words were well received and appreciated this morning. Thank you. Well, offering flowers and wreaths at a memorial site is a solemn and formal ritual that occurs internationally, symbolizing the beauty and the brevity of life. Here in the United States, not long after the Civil War ended, communities across the war-torn South, but also in the North, began to pay homage to their fallen heroes by visiting and decorating graves with flowers gathered in the spring when blossoms are new and most plentiful, making Memorial Days, or Decoration Days as they were first called, solemn and widely observed occasions. Decoration Day evolved into what we now know and commemorate as our Memorial Day, a day to remember and honor the men and women of all conflicts that have sacrificed their lives in military service of our country. The memorial that stands before you all honors those from the Revolutionary War up to today's conflicts. Trustees Alex Martin and Chris Weimer, both Marine Corps veterans who served in the Al-Anbar province, are placing the wreath upon the Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial to honor and commemorate those brave warriors who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Alex served with 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines, Chris with 1st Battalion, 5th Marines. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please stand. Place your hand over your heart. Remove your hats. Military leaders, hand salute. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Thank you. I'd just like to offer one quick observation today without derailing our schedule. You know, I was in the news business for many, many years, and I try not to watch it nearly as much as I did when I was actually involved in it. But the news around the world is rather grim. Today is a very solemn day, but I do smile. And my heart lightens when I look around and I see all the young people here, because I know that my generation, my parents' generation, is working very diligently to pass on what freedom is all about to a younger generation. So those of you that brought your young ones here today, your sons and daughters, your grandchildren, God bless you and thank you. Continue to do that and continue to share the word. It really means a lot, and I can't tell you how much it means to all of the veterans. Well, much to say about our keynote speaker today, and you'll see a lot of that in your programs. A graduate of the United States Military Academy. Can I tell them what year? Okay. He said the last 2 digits. 81. Okay. Also a graduate of the Command and General Staff College, the School of Advanced Military Studies, and the Industrial College of the Armed Forces Eisenhower School. He also earned a Master of Science degree in Aerospace Engineering at Georgia Tech. Lieutenant General Mcfarland led Army and cavalry units in every echelon, from platoon to corps, in CONUS, that's here in the United States, to Germany, the Balkans, Iraq. As a general officer, he commanded JTF North in support of U.S. border security, the 1st Armored Division at Fort Bliss, Texas, and 3 Corps in Iraq and at Fort Hood, Texas. He also served as Deputy Commanding General of U.S. Forces in Afghanistan and Deputy Commanding General of the U.S. Army's Training and Doctrine Command. And there's more. As commander of the Ready First Combat Team, 1st Brigade, 1st Armored Division in Ramadi, Iraq, he was credited with fostering the Sunni Arab Awakening movement, which was instrumental in turning the tide of the war. While commanding 3 Corps, he also commanded all coalition forces in the war against ISIS in Iraq and Syria from 2015 to 2016, Combined Joint Task Force Operation Inherent Resolve, during which time coalition forces seized the initiative, recaptured nearly half of the enemy's territory, and set the conditions for the enemy's final defeat. In 2016, Time magazine listed him as one of the top 100 most influential people in the world. Lieutenant General Sean Mcfarland retired from the Army in 2018 and is currently with General Atomics Electromagnetic Systems Group as Vice President for Weapons Programs. General Mcfarland and Linda, thank you both for honoring us here with your presence, and I turn the podium over to you, General.
Well, good morning. I can't think of a better place or a better way to spend Memorial Day than with all of you. Thank you for being here. I'd like to especially recognize Mrs. McClung, our Gold Star family members, our distinguished visitors, especially Admiral Kitchener and Mayor Gloria, and my fellow Americans who are in attendance today. When I reminisce with the veterans of the Battle of Ramadi, I often quote the first line of the book, A Tale of Two Cities. I say it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. Aside from the palm trees, there could not be two cities more different than San Diego, California, and Ramadi, Iraq. But these two distant places were forever joined in significant ways, both good and bad, during a desperate battle that turned the tide of a war. I had the honor of commanding the American forces in that battle. Over 6,000 soldiers, airmen, and Marines, supported by Navy SEALs, surgeons, and Seabees at any given time. Their courage, commitment, and sacrifice were inspiring beyond description. The daily acts of heroism were so great and so numerous that they recalled the inscription on the Iwo Jima Memorial, "Uncommon valor was a common virtue." Being in the company of such great Americans as these made those days the best of times. The loss of 82 of them over a 9-month span, the injuries sustained by hundreds of others, and the suffering of the innocents trapped in the middle of fierce fighting made them the worst of days. Many of the sailors and Marines who fought in and around the dusty and desolate streets of Ramadi came from these incongruously beautiful shores. We had Navy doctors from Balboa Hospital, SEALs from Coronado Island, Marines from the 3rd Air Wing at Miramar Air Base, and 1st MEF Forward from Camp Pendleton. Some have returned to rest here at Fort Rosecrans National Cemetery, and fittingly, San Diego is the home port of a warship named for a Navy SEAL whose selfless sacrifice in Ramadi earned a posthumous Medal of Honor, Michael Mansour. Courageous Americans forged a connection between this place and Ramadi, a very human connection of blood, sweat, and tears. Today we're gathered to dedicate a memorial to a fallen comrade of arms who played an important role in this modern tale of two cities, who helped make the Battle of Ramadi the best of times until the 6th of December 2006, a day which without a doubt was the very worst of times. Her name was Major Megan McClung, United States Marine Corps. So how did a Marine major from Camp Pendleton end up in Iraq serving as the public affairs officer for an Army colonel from Germany, commanding an armored brigade? Well, quite simply, I didn't have one, so I went to my boss, then Major General Rick Zillmer, Marine Corps, and said, hey, sir, you know, there are some things that the Army does better than the Marine Corps, but one thing the Marines do better than anybody is public affairs. And we had an important story to tell about the turning of the tide of a battle in what was then considered the most dangerous city in Iraq. And we couldn't do that without a strong public affairs officer. So please, send me a Marine. You see, back in 2006, our war in Iraq was at a strategic crossroads. This was before the surge, and Americans were growing weary of a conflict in which things seemed to be getting worse, not better. A civil war between the Sunnis and the Shia had broken out earlier that year, and coalition forces were caught in their crossfire while still battling a stubborn insurgency. Abu Musab al-Zarqawi, the leader or emir of al-Qaeda in Iraq, had declared the Islamic State in Iraq and was forming its caliphate with its capital in Ramadi. Although this city of nearly 500,000 souls was nominally the capital of Al-Anbar province, it was almost entirely controlled by the terrorists. An American intelligence assessment had recently been leaked to the press that said all of Anbar province was a lost cause, and our strategy for the whole of Iraq at the time was to turn over fighting to Iraq's fledgling army, which few believed were up to the challenge. Defeat was looming. Despite this depressing narrative, those of us fighting in Ramadi had begun to feel as though we had reached a turning point of sorts. We were establishing a network of smaller combat outposts inside the city and were placing others where the local tribal sheikhs wanted them. As tribal areas shifted to our side, we began to rebuild there, and soon even the formerly hostile Sunni tribes near Ramadi took note and one by one began to shift their support away from al-Qaeda and towards the coalition. The sheikhs called this the awakening, and after a modest beginning, their movement was gaining momentum. To be sure, fighting was still raging in and around the city and casualties remained heavy, but we were suddenly being inundated with recruits for the local police forces and the army who wanted to fight alongside us and not against us. With the support of the local tribes, we could see that victory was now possible. Unfortunately, most people outside of Ramadi who didn't see this dismissed this notion as impossible. To make matters worse, time was not on our side. The plan to stand down as the Iraqis stood up meant that we would soon have fewer coalition forces available to support the tribes. We had to get the word out that the tide was turning before it was too late, and too many coalition forces had gone home to exploit this opportunity. Our best hope was to get important journalists to leave the relative safety of the Green Zone in Baghdad and come see what was happening in Ramadi with their own eyes. In short, we had to fight a public affairs battle. Fortunately, General Zilmer and his deputy at the time, then Brigadier General Bob Neller, agreed to my request, and in an incredibly generous but fateful act, sent Megan McClung to my brigade, where she had an almost immediate impact on our efforts to change perceptions. A daunting task, yes, but still not enough to keep Megan busy. So she told me upon her arrival, "Sir, I'm still going to organize a marathon in Al Asad Air Base, satellite marathon for the Marine Corps Marathon held in Washington, D.C. in November." She also agreed to coordinate a simultaneous televised Christmas tree lighting for our families left behind in Friedberg, Germany, and their soldiers who were in Ramadi and been deployed for nearly a year at that point. Obviously, the tree in Ramadi had to be a palm tree, which, although not a traditional German Tannenbaum, was appropriate in its own way. Megan even helped to organize an Army-Navy football game and a spirit video to be shown during the broadcast of the main event. Army won overwhelmingly in Ramadi, but I regret to report Megan's alma mater beat mine in Philadelphia that year. No applause is necessary. As I said, we were at a turning point in the battle, and the enemy had begun to sense it too. So they fought back with everything they had. Between December 4th and 5th, our Joint Army and Marine Brigade combat team lost 5 soldiers, Marines, and a Navy corpsman. But the worst was yet to come. On December 6th, 6 great Americans made the ultimate sacrifice in a series of incidents across our battle space. And that single day, we lost Army Sergeant Yevgeny Rindich, who had been born in Ukraine and came to America but still displayed the same fortitude and courage which have made his countrymen so respected and renowned today. We also lost Army Sergeant Nicholas Gibbs, who had deployed with our brigade from Germany, and Marine Corporal Dustin Libby, who had just arrived as part of a Marine Expeditionary Unit sent to reinforce us. All fell to enemy small arms fire, but by far the most catastrophic loss of that day was when an IED destroyed the Humvee carrying Megan, Army Army Captain Travis Patriquin, and Army Specialist Vincent Martin. Specialist Martin was serving as the gunner on their vehicle. He was a tall, young, and very squared away, quiet professional. Travis and Megan, on the other hand, were energetic, talkative, happy warriors. I can just imagine Specialist Martin listening with amusement on his headset to these two brilliant officers chatting away excitedly over their intercom about the important and complementary roles that they were playing in Ramadi. You see, Travis had been helping the Sheikhs expand their awakening movement by getting them the resources they requested, and it was Megan's job to make sure the world knew about what they were doing and achieving with those resources. On that day, thanks to Megan's good work, we had not one but two important visitors from the media, Ollie North from Fox News and a reporter from Newsweek. I wasn't worried about Mr. North. He seemed to grasp what we were saying, but the Newsweek reporter was more skeptical of our progress and required some special handling. So I asked Megan and Travis to take her to meet with the leading sheikh and then to see firsthand how one of our most important combat outposts in the heart of the city was making possible our Clear, Hold, and Build campaign. I returned from my morning battlefield circulation just as they were preparing to leave on their mission, and I spoke to them briefly. I vividly remember Specialist Pamante's friendly smile as he passed me on the way to his vehicle, and the cheerful confidence of Megan and Travis before they set out. As their convoy rolled down a dusty street to Combat Outpost Falcon, the Humvee carrying Megan, Travis, and Vincent struck an IED that had been hidden from view by the dusty road. Sadly, I will also vividly remember being told of their deaths, and I suppose I always will. Over the next couple of days, I spoke to Specialist Pamante's mother, Travis's wife, and Megan's father, to at least let them know that they did not grieve alone. As was often the case, all of the next of kin were incredibly polite and understanding as I tried to explain why their loved ones had been ripped from their lives. In a way, their kindness made those calls even more heartbreaking. Mrs. Pamante even asked me how I was doing. Imagine that. Sadly, Megan's father has passed since then, but her mother and brother are here today, and I would just like to say to them now, as I did to her father 16 years ago, I am so sorry that we lost your Megan. I drove down that stretch myself many times and was hit by IEDs there more than a few. And I had numerous other close calls in battle. And I can't explain why I'm here today and she's not. I know it's not fair. All I can say is I try my best to make her sacrifice matter. And although nothing I can ever say will fill the hole she's left in your hearts, I hope you can take some comfort in knowing Megan did make a real difference and died doing what she believed in, surrounded by soldiers and Marines who loved her like a sister. That night, as we put her aboard the Hero flight, hundreds of those brothers and sisters in arms stood in the dark with tears in their eyes to say goodbye as a bagpiper played Amazing Grace. A few days later, we held a memorial service on Camp Ramadi for all three of the fallen from that terrible incident. It was attended by many of the sheikhs who knew her and Travis, and they cried along with us. After the ceremony, I shared a hug with a Marine major. I won't say his name because I don't want to embarrass him, and I think he's here today. But he probably had about 30 pounds on me back then, and as he cried, he leaned on me. And despite his weight, I welcomed the chance to grieve with him. As the old song goes, he wasn't heavy, he was my brother. I said Megan had an important job to do and made a difference, and she did. Thanks to her efforts, the narrative truly began to change. As I often said to her after she showed me comments she had written on my behalf for the media, thank you for my eloquence. It was her words that helped change minds, and although a single IED ended 3 incredible lives far too soon, it was not too soon to defeat them. The word was out, and it kept on spreading through those who carried on their work. Ramadi had become an example of how to win in Iraq. When General Petraeus arrived in Iraq along with the surge forces, his first visit was to Ramadi, where he assured us he would adopt our tactics and techniques and embrace the awakening movement. They say the pen is mightier than the sword. In this case, Megan's pen helped bring the sword of victory to Iraq. Reports of our success reached as far as the White House, and because he could now see a clear path to victory, President Bush approved deployment of the surge force. We know this because the president flew to Iraq and Anbar province and visited with the same sheikhs who attended Megan's memorial. The rest is history. The surge worked in part thanks to the awakening. Coalition troops, joined by their new allies, left the large FOBs outside the cities to occupy smaller combat outposts within them, just as we had done in Ramadi. Some hard fighting followed, just as we experienced in Ramadi, but in due course, the tide soon turned in Baghdad and across Iraq. How dramatically? In the place where it all started just 1 year after Megan's death and only a couple blocks away. The streets of Ramadi were the scene of a 5K fun run. The only gunshot heard that day was from a starter's pistol. I wish she could have been there to see that run, along with those others who sacrificed to make that possible. And come to think of it, Megan probably would have helped to organize it had she been there. Although A Tale of Two Cities was a work of fiction, life does sometimes imitate art. At the end of the story, the hero faces death for the sake of others in a violent city far from home, just as Megan did. Sometimes, though, life transcends art. Our fictional hero's sacrifice atoned for a previously selfish life and gave him hope for a far better rest than he had thought possible. For our real-life hero, Megan, she had no need of atonement. From the time she was old enough to do so, she put herself in harm's way out of love of country and for her fellow man until the 6th of December, 2006, when harm found her. The Bible teaches us there is no higher form of love than to lay down one's life for another. If there is indeed a just God in heaven, she surely rests with him with it far better now than any of us can have in this life. And she's there along with her brothers in arms who shared in that sacrifice. Thank you all for being here today to honor Major Megan McClung and all of our fallen. Thank you to everybody who made this ceremony possible in this beautiful memorial. And most of all, thank you, Mrs. McClung, for giving us Megan. God bless you. God bless all of our Gold Star families. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You can be seated for just a moment. The missing man formation that you're going to witness here in just a moment, perhaps the most expressive and solemn aerial maneuver that can be flown. Although it started in Europe by the British, the U.S. first began the tradition in 1938. In that day, it was rarely, if ever, seen by the public. Only those privileged to attend military funerals and ceremonies were familiar with the formation. In April of 1954, United States Air Force General Hoyt Vandenberg was buried at Arlington National Cemetery without the traditional horse-drawn artillery caisson. Instead, Vandenberg was honored by a flyover of jet aircraft with one plane missing from the formation. The first time a military aerobatics unit ever performed the formation was during the Vietnam War, when the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds flew that formation to honor prisoners of war in Vietnam. I'm going to ask you now to stand, if you are able. The missing man formation signals to those here on the ground the losses incurred during the last mission. It signifies the holding of a place of honor and gratitude for fallen comrades. And as they flew over, you saw that one pilot pulls up and away from the formation, signifying the reluctant departure from Earth of another brave warrior and the return of his soul to God's gift of eternal peace in heaven. Now, I'll tell you, you may be seated if you like, but you may want to continue standing for the next flyover. Up to you. While Memorial Day is a solemn commemoration here at the Mount Soledad Veterans Memorial, we're fortunate to have some amazing aerial displays, and we feel the importance to embrace life when we're here on this planet. Just a short time, so sometimes we like to add a little fun and excitement here. Today, again, we're fortunate to have the San Diego Salute Formation Team participate in our event. These local professional pilots, a mixture of private owners, military veterans. They've performed many air shows and events in the Southern California region. The team today led once again by Navy veteran John Flipper Flippin in his 1960s T-34 Navy aircraft. On his wing, Paul Kessel, also a Navy veteran, Mike Reardon, Kent Field, and Bryant Smith. They'll be circling around here and back shortly. I mentioned that T-34 aircraft. That dates back from around the late 1940s and 50s. They were piston-engined. These were eventually succeeded by the upgraded T-34C Turbo Mentor, powered by a turboprop engine. We've got the Yaks up there, the CJ6. They have 9-cylinder, 360 horsepower radial engines. They retain many of the features common with the Yaks that saw operations in World War II. The Yak-52 was purpose-built by the Russian Yakovlev Design Bureau as both a basic trainer and for advanced aerobatics. It's a two-seater where the instructor occupies the rear seat. The CJ6 is an all-original Chinese aircraft designed as a basic trainer, a total production run estimated at more than 3,000 aircraft. And as they come back around, you're going to be witnessing the maneuver known as the fleur-de-lis. Again, that's our San Diego Salute Formation Team. And folks, you may now have a seat once again. We'd now like to unveil a plaque replica of Megan's plaque that the audience can view here after the ceremony. The actual plaque located on wall J. It's on the east side of the memorial, designated with an honor display on top of the wall. It's basically back in this direction, but I hope you'll walk all the way around today. Ree McClung, Megan's mother, her brother Michael, Amy Forsyth, Neil O'Connell, who served with Megan, being joined by Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial President Phil Kendra. Ladies and gentlemen, before I turn it back over to Phil Kendra, just once again, I want to thank you all for being here. I hope you'll be back here on Veterans Day as well. And I hope, again, you'll bring your families up here. Again, as I mentioned, the children, take time to walk around and just read just a few of the stories with the young people. There's a little bit of everything represented on these walls here. My father has a plaque here. He wasn't a war hero. He didn't see combat, but all are welcome here who served honorably and wear the uniform and protect us and protect our freedom. So enjoy the depth and breadth of all the stories here and take time to read those, please. But again, thank you for being here. Phil, I'll turn it back over to you, and I hope you'll enjoy the rest of your day and the freedom that's represented here. Phil?
Can I give, please, a round of applause for this great American and MC that's been with us for years. He was a broadcaster on local news. He works for the San Diego Zoo now, and he protects our community with the El Cajon Police Force as well. So thank you, Mark. I love you, brother. You're awesome. Thank you. And we couldn't do this today without the amazing efforts, both in donations and time, in this front row, amazing supporters like Papa Doug, Manchester and family, Tim Day, Jack and Carolyn Dorsey, Peter Farrell could not be here, I believe, the Harms, our Chairman Emeritus, Bill Kellogg, Jack McGrory, Steve and Stephanie Williams. We really thank you for helping us to do what we do here. Thank you to Kaiser Permanente, Rancho Santa Fe Foundation, the R3 Strategic Support Group Incorporated. Jersey Mike's got us some food for the volunteers today, and UBS Paradigm Group. Denise, Becky, Jennifer, and our new Executive Director, Neil O'Connell. You are creating so many great ideas, goals, and actions to make our memorial and association much stronger, and very much appreciate that. Our Honor and Courage members, thank you for your support today, and to our elected officials and military leaders both up here and down there, we appreciate your continued support over the years. Josh, Vincent, thank you for joining us, Lieutenant Harper. And those who couldn't take the day off, the Marines, especially Marine Corps Installation West and Marine Band San Diego. If you watch CBS on the 4th of July, I got something cool for Marine Band San Diego that we worked on. So make sure to catch CBS on the 4th of July. Finest City Entertainment, event, or Just a Web Company, Friendly Sons of St. Patrick. You all are rock stars just because you'll just do anything just to volunteer. So I really appreciate having you all here today. The U.S. Navy Chief Petty Officer Association, our event committee, the docents, and our youngest volunteers like Julia Bell, who's going to NAPS for the Naval Academy pretty soon. Excited to see that, Julia. We're going to miss you. And my awesome son and daughter, those future leaders that are helping out. I really do appreciate that, Alex and Brandon. Our greatest generation, Return to Normandy, Honor Flight San Diego, the greatest generation, we can never thank you enough. The Naval Academy Alumni Association, especially Bill Connor, Enrique Molina, thank you for getting the folks out here today. That was very kind of you, and my fellow Comstrat Marines that are here. Albert put up all these big flags out here, and it's funny, I learned about Albert Kapitansky recently, more I didn't know, but his father was a World War II veteran from Poland, and used to put these flags up all over, both here at the Mount Soledad Memorial as well as Oceanside. When Sergeant Neil O'Neill had this young Albert running around, so it's neat that we've been doing that so many years, so I appreciate the support. And finally, why are we here today? It's honoring Megan and those loved ones who lost a family member, our Gold Star families. Can you please rise? If you're a Gold Star family member, please rise. Thank you to Megan's family. Ree and Michael, we're so glad you could be here. The Martinez family, we're glad you could be here again. The Uzre family that's here and sharing this day. We here at the Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial will never forget your sacrifice and honored to be in your presence. In her Naval Academy yearbook, Megan was quoted saying, "I am more scared of being nothing than of being hurt." Well, Megan, you can see from the crowd here today, from your Naval Academy and Marine Corps friends, to your family members, to those across this grateful nation, you had nothing to fear, as your legacy is one of admiration, love, and reverence. I'd like to read from a poem by Anthony Dowson titled, "Remember Me." I think we're squared away. "Speak of me as you've always done. Remember the good times, laughter, and fun. Share the happy memories we've made. Do not let them wither or fade. I'll be with you in the summer's sun and when the winter's chill has come. I'll be the voice that whispers in the breeze, I'm peaceful now, Put your mind at ease. I've rested my eyes and gone to sleep, but the memories we've shared are yours to keep. Sometimes our final days may be a test, but remember me when I was at my best. Although things may not be the same, do not be afraid to use my name. Let your sorrow last for just a while. Comfort each other and try to smile. I've lived a life of joy and fun. Live on now and make me proud of what you'll become. Ladies and gentlemen, can you please stand? Thank you so much for that, Ron. Coronado Fire Captain, retired, serving our San Diego community for over 33 years. Ladies and gentlemen, please continue standing as we hoist the flag to full staff as well, please. For the flag raising, our docent team leader, Bob Maroney, Air Force Cold War veteran, and Bob Bottom Gun McCollum, United States Navy Chief Submarine Service, will raise our colors, both our longtime volunteers at the Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial and two of our amazing docents. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this experience today. As you finish your Memorial Day weekend, we ask you that you pause and take a moment to reflect on those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you again for being with us here today. God bless America. And at the end, we have a flag unfurling that if anybody would like to volunteer to help out with the flag unfurling, that they'd like to do this afterwards if you have an opportunity. Again, thank you again, and God bless America.